This is Kanaya, and today we're going to talk about what can you say if someone is ungrateful? What can you do if someone shows a lack of appreciation? When someone is ungrateful, you could try to address the issue directly by explaining how their behavior makes you feel, using I statements to express your feelings without placing blame. You could also try to understand the root cause of their lack of gratitude, perhaps by showing empathy and offer kindness. Alternatively, you might choose to limit your interactions with the ungrateful person, especially if their negativity is affecting your well being. Here's a more detailed breakdown of how to respond. Number one, address the ungratefulness directly. Using I statements. Instead of saying you never appreciate anything, try try I feel unappreciated when this approach is less excatory and more likely to lead a constructive conversation. I'm gonna fill the blanks for this, and I'll tell you if it makes sense. I feel unappreciated when my efforts wait, hold on. I feel unappreciated when my efforts are not being acknowledged. This kind of makes sense. Or I feel unappreciated when you don't say thank you often. That can be another way to address this. Be specific. Wait, this approach is less excatory and more likely to lead a constructive conversation. Which I'm gonna tell you what this means. Hold on. Yeah, so a constructive conversation is a type of dialogue that is useful, helpful, and perspective and, and productive rather than negative or unhelpful. It involves actively understanding different perspectives, and finding common ground to build on and move forward. This type of conversation aims to foster collaboration, reduce conflict, and create positive outcome. So let's see. Let's go next. So it's kind of like constructive conversation is like, let's see. So let's say a constructive conversation is a form of conversation in which people who have different values, beliefs, and perspectives seek to build new ways to understand and interact with each other. So even as they sustain commitments to their own principles and perspective. So so even though like constructive conversation encourage people to freely share their thoughts with another. So they actively engage in using the language skills they have to communicate their ideas and building upon the foundation as they go. So let's go back to the ungratefulness for a second, because when so constructing conversation works because it allows them to share their feelings freely. So when someone is ungrateful to you and they only care about themselves, and you can tell them like, I feel unappreciated when my efforts are not acknowledged. So it says, be specific. Clearly state what actions or behaviors are causing you to feel ungrateful. For example, I feel unappreciated when you don't acknowledge the effort I put into helping you with your project. Explain the impact. Describe how the lack of gratitude affects you. For instance, it makes me feel disheartened when I don't see any positive response to my help. Be open to discussion. Be open to discussion. Allow the other person to explain their perspective and listen actively to what they have to say. Number two, understand the root cause. Empathy. Try to understand why the person might be acting ungrateful. Are they stressed, dealing with personal issues, or do they have a history of feeling entitled? So, Leslie University says empathy can be used. Empathy can be great. Leslie University says empathy can be useful in these situations. In these situations, kindness. Offer them kindness and support as their ungratefulness might stem from a place of hurt or insecurity. Number three, limit interactions. If the person constantly shows a lack of gratitude, if the person constantly shows a lack of gratitude and it negatively impacts your well-being, it may be necessary to limit your interactions with them. Focus on yourself. Remember, you cannot force someone to be grateful. Focus on taking care of your own emotional needs and well-being. Number four, consider the bigger picture. Ungrateful people forgot what they are not grateful for. Consider the bigger picture. Ungrateful people forgets how, consider the bigger picture. Ungrateful people forget what they are not grateful for. This quote highlights that some people may genuinely struggle with gratitude and may need guidance or support to develop it. The best way to deal with ungrateful people is to respond with action rather than words. This suggests that actions like kindness and setting boundaries might be more effective than simply telling someone they are ungrateful, which is true, or you can let them know that they're being ungrateful. That's another way. Or you can teach them how to be grateful, which some people already know how to be grateful. Or you can draw the line with them, which which I can tell you next. Which I can tell you next. So hold on. So it says draw the line with un ungrateful person. So let's say so it says dealing with ungrateful individuals and setting boundaries. Wait, deal with ungrateful individuals and setting boundaries. Interacting with a grateful person can be draining and damaging your well-being. Setting clear boundaries is essential to protect your emotional space and prevent being taken advantage of. But let me see. see. Yeah, so to draw in line with that person, you might tell them that you're not gonna. You can let them know that you're not gonna continue to do nice things for them in the future if they can't show their appreciations. So that's another way to draw the line. Or or you ask them. So yeah, so another way you could see. So let's see. Let's see. Can you say uh, so alright, so now we're gonna talk about drawing a line with them, right? So drawing the line with an ungrateful person involves setting clear boundaries to protect yourself and your well being. This can be particularly challenging when the person is a friend, family member, or a colleague. Here are some phrases and approaches you can use. That approaches you can use. Number one, express feelings directly. When specific action occurs, it can make someone feel taken for granted. So when so when a situation occurs, it can make someone be it can make someone feel taken for granted. When efforts to help are not acknowledged, it can cause feelings of hurt, frustrations, or being unappreciated. It's important to be upfront. It feels like yes, let's go back to the first sentence. When the ungratefulness happens, or when the ungratefulness occurs, it could make someone feel taken for granted. When efforts to help are not acknowledged, it can cause feelings of hurt, frustration, or being unappreciated. Or being unappreciated. It's important to be upfront. It feels like, let's see, upfront is. Let's see. Let me see. Frank and honest. Let's see. Yeah, it's important to be upfront. It feels like a pattern has been noticed where describe un describe ungrateful behavior which makes someone feel undervalued. So let's say someone when you did something nice for them and they didn't really appreciate the the efforts that you put into, and then they expect more from you. So it feels like this is the behaviors that I so I didn't expect a thank you from you or something like that, or you didn't expect a thank you or something like that. So let's go. So let's see. So number two, set clear boundaries and expectations. Help is order, like help is offered, but being mindful of time is needed. From now on, only specific action will be possible. Specific action will no longer be possible because it's affecting one's own well-being. Prioritizing one's own needs is necessary, and that means the specific action is not possible. Like the gratefulness is no longer possible. It will be no longer possible because it's affecting one's own well-being. So it's necessary to decline this request. Number three, communicate consequences if necessary. If this continues, the nature of the relationship may need to be reconsidered. If this pattern continues, limited the time spent together may be necessary. If the boundaries are not respected, continually specific action will not be possible. Number four, shift focus. Focus on what can be controlled, which are one's own actions. Well, focus on what can be controlled, which are one's own actions and attitude. Someone else's ingratitude will not be allowed to negatively impact one's own joy. Important notes: use I statements. Focus on feelings and needs rather than blaming the other person. Be calm and assertive. Avoid raising your voice or being overly emotional, which can escalate the situation. Be clear and concise. State boundaries and expectations clearly. Follow through. Focus. Reinforce the set boundaries to show seriousness. Well, the let's see. The second part, it's okay to be emotional if someone is showing their ungratefulness. So I can't tell y'all not to be emotional, but yes, it's okay to cry or get emotional when someone is showing their gratefulness. So yes, I'm gonna correct myself on that. Practice self-care. Prioritize your own well-being and seek support from others if needed. Ultimately, you cannot control another person's behavior or whether they choose to be grateful. However, you can control your own actions and reactions and set boundaries to protect yourself from their negativity. So yes. So yes, if they don't show their appreciations, so what you can do in the future is not to discuss. So in the future, you can limit yourself from the person, or the quote was saying like you can so to respond actions rather than words, like walk like like limit your interactions with the person who's trying to show their ungratefulness. So, so the first thing, let's pretend you're talking to a person who is ungrateful. So, your number one word, well, so the number one thing that you can say, like when their gratefulness occurs, it can make someone feel taken for granted. When their efforts to help, so when their efforts are not being acknowledged, it can cause feelings of hurt, frustrations, or being unappreciated. So, or a pattern of behavior when you don't appreciate the efforts that's not being made. So wait, let me just see something so we can go on the right track. Let's see. So let's see. Or we can say, so a pattern, so describe our grateful behaviors, like when you don't show your appreciations, or you don't appreciate the efforts that's not being made, it can make someone feel undervalued. Help is offered, but being mindful of time is needed or is considered. So for now on, only gratefulness will be possible. The gratefulness will no longer be possible because it is affecting one's own well-being. So you can tell the other person prioritizing one's own needs is necessary, and that means that the ungratefulness is not possible. Or let me see. Let's see what this means, and I'll describe about it. Let's see. So it means, so let's see. Hold up. So prioritizing one's own needs is necessary, and that means that wait, yes. Yeah, so their gratefulness is not possible. So yes. So you can let them know that in the future you can let them know that in the future you will no longer provide help or effortness if they can't be appreciative. So that's so that's how it's gonna work. So 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 you can say, like, you can let them know that you will no longer provide help or do nice things for them if they don't, well, if they can't show their appreciations. Or you can say, I can't do nice things for you. Or it says, I'm not gonna do nice, well, no, I can't, well, no. Or you can say, I'm no longer do nice things for, or I'm no longer providing help until they, right. Or you can let them know that You're not gonna, you no longer do nice things for them until they start showing their appreciations or be more appreciative. Be more appreciative. So, yes. So, showing your gratefulness is important. So, it allows people to feel good on the inside and makes them feel valued. So, we don't want to make the person undervalued because it shows that they don't really care. That shows that they don't care about the efforts that is being put into, and they only care about what they want or what their needs are. So, yeah, that's showing a sense of entitlement, which thinks that they expect more from them. They want things done the way that they want things done the way that they want it. They want to, and it doesn't really make sense to the entitlement of person. So let's see. So so yes. So let's say, what could you say to an entitled person? So let's say, it can you say to an entitled person? Because even though people only act entitled, so yeah, so like I was saying, people only act entitled for when they need something or they want something or they expect more from others. So not even what they say is, it's like what they say, it's just how they say it. It's like, oh, I want you to do this or I want you to do that, and oh, it's not this or not that. So you can tell them that this is understood to be important, but help isn't possible at the time. Or 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 we can say that it's been noticed that you've been relying on others to do something nice, and it's like, how do you expect them to do something nice for you? Or how do you expect others to do something nice when you didn't appreciate the fact that they started to put effort into, I mean, um, to, yeah, I mean, yeah, so, so it says, what to say to entitled people or whatever. So it says, let me just see. So it says, I see where you're coming from, but we can't rely on people to to do stuff for them. So let's see. Let's focus on finding a solution there rather than placing blame. Or let's say, like, how do you respond to an entitled person? So entitled people accept favors without returning them. They freeload, they feel aggravated when asked to do something, particularly if it's not going to get them anything in return. Entitled people have difficulty compromising, navigating, or negotiating negotiating, following rules, waiting their turn, or taking one for the team. So, so either way, so they only care about themselves. They don't really care about what has to be done around the house, and they don't return favors. So, so, so it says, what causes a person to become entitled? How people are treated by their parents and other authoritative figures, messages from the media, and other life events, especially those that make people feel entitled. So, so now you want from, so you expect more from me. You so you expect from me. You want more from me, and I don't get any favors in return, and now I feel like I'm doing so much. Like, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Like, what do you expect me to do? Like, do you expect me to take down this path, or do I stop? Like, we just gotta think about, like, what actions can you take so that you don't feel like they taking advantage of you, or that you're being, like, feel like you have to do stuff for them which you don't have to. So let's see. So it says, drawing the line. So it says, how do you draw the line within a entitled person? So, drawing a line within a entitled person requires clear and assertive communication and consistent boundary settings. Here are some things you can say and ways to frame your communication to be firm yet respectful. Number one, direct state your needs. I need to prioritize my own task right now, so I can't take on extra work. You can say that. I need some time to myself this weekend. I need to respect my decision. Use I statements. Number two, use I statements. I feel frustrated when declines are missed. I feel uncomfortable when you speak to me that way. Number three, set clear expectations and boundaries. I can help you with this task, but only until 5 p.m. After that, I need time for myself. If you're going to be late, please let me know so I can adjust my plans. If not, I'll have to leave without you. Number four, validate their emotions without enabling entitled behavior. I could understand why you might be frustrated, but I need you to understand my perspective as well. I see how much this means to you, but I want to find a fair solution. Number five, be firm and consistent. Repeat your boundary clearly and consistently. Don't over explain, meaning like don't explain too much or justify your boundaries beyond a simple statement. Follow through with consequences when boundaries are violated. So let's say your boundaries are violated. They don't respect your boundaries, or they don't really care about what you have to say, so they're not really taking you seriously. So let's talk about violate your boundaries for a second, because violate your boundaries. So let's see. So the phrase violate your. Let's go back for a second. Let's see. Let's see. So the phrase violate your boundaries refers to the idea of setting and maintaining healthy personal boundaries. It's about being assertive and clear about your limits and various aspects of life, including physical, emotional, digital, and professional settings. It's not being passive or shrinking violet, but rather about being confident in expressing your needs and protecting your well being. So, here's a breakdown of what it means to violate your boundaries. Number one, understanding boundaries. Boundaries are the limits we set with others, indicating what behavior is acceptable and unacceptable. They relate to how, when, where, and what to do and what we do, including our work and personal life. Uh, Boundaries are critical for self care, as falling out to set them can lead to feeling overwhelmed and depleted. Number two, setting boundaries. Be clear and specific. Communicate your needs and limits directly and honestly. Be assertive. Express your needs firmly and fairly, considering the other person's perspective. Practice saying no, learning to decline requests and demands that overstep your boundaries. Be consistent. Follow through with consequences when boundaries are crossed. Number three, why is important? Self respect. Setting boundaries demonstrates self respect and helps you prioritize your needs. Healthy relationship. Set clear boundaries, foster better communication, and prevent misunderstandings. Emotional well being. Boundaries protect your emotional energy and prevent burnout. Productively, boundaries can improve focus and productively by reducing distraction and interruptions. Number four, in relationships, saying no to a friend who constantly asks you for favors when you're busy. And the workplace, setting a limit on work-related emails after hours. With family, enabling rules about when and how often y'all visit. Number five, not in a shrink it violet. The phrase not in a shrink it violet is sometimes used to describe someone who is not afraid to express their opinions or stand up for themselves, even if it means being seen as assertive or opinionated. If contrast with the idea of being meek, quiet, or overly passive, being assertive and having strong boundaries is not the same as being aggressive or unkind. So let's go back to this for a second. So let's see. Number six, offer a compromise if appropriate. See, let's compromise. I can help you with X, but not with Y. I can't babysit all day. I can watch the kids for an hour or two. Number 7, know when to disengage. If the person refuses to respect your boundaries after repeatedly attempts, consider limiting your interactions with them or walking away. Remember, setting boundaries is a form of self-love and self-respect. By being clear, consist, consistent, and assertive, you can protect your own well-being and encourage healthier relationships. So I hope this video helps you. So I hope you like, subscribe, and comment down below on my YouTube video. Thanks for watching.